to Meet Me Halfway. I'm Jordan Griffith. He is Austin McNorton. You guys know what it is. We're going to talk about ice cream for an hour, just like we did French fries. This is just what we do. It's what we're good at. But before that, we're going to have to get into some sports. So, Austin, say hi to the people.
What's going on, people? Jordan's ice cream is very wrong, and I'm good about to be more heated than probably ever. So
we're seriously, very ironically, we're going to get heated about ice cream.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's the biggest topic of today's discussion.
That really should be the title of the show.
Yep.
Meet Me Halfway. Heated about ice cream? Question mark?
Question mark.
Exclamation point. Is it like a heated about ice cream, or is it heated about ice cream? You know, it's like there's a subtle difference there.
That is true.
Yeah, there is. Okay. Unfortunately, we're going to talk about sports. So I want to go through and I want to give the top free agent fit for all of the top free agents. So one team for each of the players that we think it would fit best in that situation. So we'll start with probably second most priority right now, Kevin Durant coming off of an Achilles injury. So year one, what is the best fit for him to go to, Austin?
I mean, I think I've been saying this for a little bit now, and you're probably going to go from the standpoint of where he fits in with teammates, where like how will the team do. I look at it from where the player wants to go from a marketing media standpoint. So for Kevin Durant, I think the Knicks are a pretty good choice in that market. Whether it's with the biggest question for me is whether it's with Brooklyn or New York in itself. Right. I personally think Brooklyn has more potential. I think they have a better team fit. But I think he wants to be the sole guy. I think he doesn't want to join, that's D-Lowe's team. He doesn't want to join D-Lowe's team. He wants to say, I'm joining no one. I'm creating the team right now. Like, the team is now here because of me.
Right. And also, I'm not factoring in salary to any of this.
All right.
I'm just going with teams where they fit best.
So yeah, I think Kevin Durant in the New York Knicks would be a good fit. I think he'll get a lot of attention there. He could build up that franchise again. I think he would be proud to do that. He's already got himself rings, so I don't know what his real goal is now, other than to say, no, I can do this by myself too. It wasn't Russ that helped me. It wasn't Steph that helped me. I can do this by myself. Let me go prove it. So I think the Knicks are a good fit.
Right. I would agree with that. But the biggest part for Kevin Durant for me is the Achilles injury. Now, here's the best, I think, situation that he could land himself in. Sign another one-year deal with the Warriors. Get into free agency once again. Come back from that Achilles injury. Maybe show something there toward the end of the season. And then go sign somewhere else. But I don't think the Warriors are going to be able to do that.
So what does it really mean, though, that he declined his player option, for a lot of people who don't know? What's that truly mean for him to decline that from the Warriors? Is he trying to get more money from them, or what? Yes. What does that really mean?
So the NBA, they give you incentive to stay with the team that you are currently on. So the Warriors right now can offer him more money and an extra player option for the 2022-2023 season, I believe. They get the extra $41 million option in that year, plus just a few million every single year. So if he stays with the Warriors long term, if he finds that supermax, he's going to be able to receive much more money than he would anywhere else. But that's also not a good thing either, because then they feel trapped with the team. You get stuck in situations you don't want to be. You know, things change all the time in the NBA. So when he's declining that player option, that $31 million that you see, you think, he's crazy to turn that down, but he could really get that anywhere else in the NBA. So that just means he wants to either get more money long-term with the Warriors or go get about the same or even more with another team. So it doesn't really mean a whole lot. Anytime these players decline their options doesn't exactly mean that they're done with the team. So he declined his option. Ideally, he would sign in 1 year with the Warriors, show something maybe toward the end, and then maybe a team's going to be eligible or going to be willing, rather, to give him another supermax to sign over their franchise to him. We don't know how good he's going to be is the problem.
Do you think that's a risk for him to take, though? Because what if a lot of people say he might not play at all, but what if he does and he shows that he's not the same? Does he take that risk? Because then who would give him a supermax?
I don't think, but the thing is, though, I don't know if there's a lot of teams that are willing to give him a supermax right now because of this Achilles injury. So I think his only chance, let me say, I think that's what's going on. If
So you're
that's
saying
not
his only
the case,
chance of getting a supermax is with the Warriors?
I think no. I think his only chance of getting supermax is showing something in this next year if he comes back toward the end of the year. I don't know if I would give him a supermax right now because Dominique Wilkins is the only guy to ever come back or be the same at this age as well. And Kevin Durant, we all know he's so reliant on the pick and pop, on the mid-range jumpers, everything that relies quickly on that Achilles. So I'm not 100% sure that he's going to get the supermax. I think the only way he's going to do it is if he shows something next year if he comes back. So I think Golden State is really the only option for him right now to get really any money. So I think you stay, maybe sign the supermax with Golden State because I think that might be the only team willing to give it to him right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to the most coveted free agent, the reigning title MVP, Kawhi Leonard. Now he also declined his massive player option for Toronto, so he is now officially a free agent. Where would be the best fit for Kawhi Leonard?
Am I crazy to say in Toronto? I just really think that it's a really great fit for him. I think he's got for one, the entire nation of Canada on his side. We saw that with the parade in Toronto and just how awesome that was for him to win with them. Plus, I think he's just a good fit with that team. I think he helps Kyle Lowry improve his game. I think Pascal Siakam stepped up defensively. We saw he was most improved player in the NBA. And I think from a we talked about the media standpoint with Kevin Durant, media standpoint with Kawhi Leonard. I don't know if he really wants that much attention on him because he's not that much of a media guy. He doesn't, he just like answers his questions. He doesn't spark up really too much controversy. And in Toronto, that's perfect. If you're in Toronto, you won't be in a magnifying glass if you go to New York, if you go to LA. There's a lot of people saying he might end up with the Clippers, which that would be a lot of fun to watch because that's a very promising team. That's a hot free agent market. But I think Toronto, he really will have a good time. I think it's a great fit, and he's won there. I mean, and if he stays with that team, team stays the same, who says they won't win again? I mean, really.
Yeah, I agree with Toronto. I don't see why there's any reason to go anywhere else. Also, the fact that he's already changed his franchise, but he can really change his franchise at the same time. He can turn Toronto into one of those places.
Into a place that rookies and free agents want to go to.
He can do for Toronto what LeBron did to Cleveland. Everyone's like, well, I kind of want to go to Cleveland. Cleveland's not the best. I don't want to talk crap on Cleveland. But I think we all know what I'm trying to say. Toronto's kind of in the same, is kind of looked at in the same way, even though they're the third biggest city if they're in America. Because they're not Cleveland. They're much, much bigger than Cleveland. But it's not exactly a place that people says, okay, I'm going to Canada and I'm going to go play. I'm going to reject New York. I'm going to reject LA. I'm going to reject Miami, Chicago, and I'm going to go play in Toronto. Kawhi Leonard can do that long term for the Toronto Raptors. He can turn this into a basketball powerhouse, it's not going to be a basketball nation. It's hockey. It's Canada. Yeah. But he can turn this into a basketball city, bringing all of these free agents, all of these great drafts, all these rookies up there. So I think Kawhi should just stay right where he is, and I think having an entire nation behind you is better than having just one city.
Yeah, I think it's a great fit for him.
Yeah. Okay, number 3, we're going with a very, very confusing one. D'Angelo Russell. Now, he is currently a restricted free agent with the Brooklyn Nets, has been in talks with the Los Angeles Lakers, once again, his former team. So, Austin, D'Angelo Russell, where should he go?
I think it's probably a 3-team race, and the next player you have on here, it probably determines a lot of it too. I think it's probably between the Los Angeles Lakers, the Brooklyn Nets, and probably the Boston Celtics. With the absence of Kyrie, I think Boston, I don't know if I think they're fine with Terry Rozier, but as we know, Terry Rozier, who knows if he's even going to be there. And so for Russell, I think that could be an interesting fit. I would hope that he ends up with the Lakers because they need him desperately. But then you could say the same for Kemba Walker, who's on our list here also. So I think a lot of it depends on where Kemba goes, because I think, is Kemba more coveted right now than Russell is?
I would say so.
I would say so. So I think depending on where Kemba goes might be where Russell goes. But I think Russell kind of proved himself this year in Brooklyn. And so if he stays in Brooklyn, it wouldn't surprise me. I hope from a fan standpoint as a Lakers fan that he ends up in the purple and gold rather than the green in Boston. But I could see him going to either one of those teams, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just boring. The first three guys, I think that they should just stay where they're at.
And that won't surprise me if they all
Russell. Yeah, I think you just stay in Brooklyn. The biggest part to me is I don't think he's done growing. And I know if he goes to LA, he'll be done growing. That's the best he's going to get. LeBron is known for not developing players at all. Matter of fact, making players have their career lows around LeBron James, outside of Hall of Famers like Bosh. I mean, if he didn't have the health issues, he'd be a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. Dwayne Wade is gonna skate into the Hall of Fame. Other than that, LeBron does not play well with other guys. He doesn't make them better. He doesn't give them career numbers. So D'Angelo Russell had a career year in Brooklyn because...
Plus, does he even want to go back to Los Angeles? The team that didn't want him.
Right, the team that didn't want him, the team that traded him away. I heard Doug Gottlieb say this yesterday. They said he was one of the worst Lakers that they've had in the past 20 years. Which I don't know if I believe that, first of all. But if that's true, why are you even in discussions with the guy? So obviously that means that you messed up because you drafted him second overall, and then you traded him away, and then you bring him back. So you submitted to 3 mistakes. It's just hard to fathom that he would go back.
So what about the probability of Boston for him?
I don't know if I like Boston either, because I think D'Angelo Russell can be a number one guy. That's how much I love D'Angelo Russell. He's my favorite player in the NBA. I love the way he plays. He's a very unselfish player. He's very crafty. He reminds me of just kind of a better, more athletic version of Tony Parker. So I really like what D'Angelo Russell brings to the game. I think he would fit okay in Boston. I think he's more of a selfless player than Kyrie is. Kyrie's a shot creator. D'Angelo Russell's kind of more of a playmaking shot creator. He kind of does both. He kind of plays both sides a little better, I think, than Kyrie does. But then that also means that if you bring any point guard in free agency to Boston, Terry Rozier's gone. He might already be gone anyways. So are you willing to part ways with him for sure or take a chance on him? Either way, I think for D'Angelo Russell to get better, Brooklyn is the place to go. Add someone to him. Don't add him to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So I think D'Angelo Russell can be that guy. So I think he should stay in Brooklyn for his best interest, command that team and that huge franchise, that market that they got down there. So I think D'Angelo Russell should stay right there in Brooklyn. Okay, number 4, Kemba Walker, who was probably the most coveted point guard in the free agents class.
I know he said he wanted to stay in Charlotte, but I think there's a lot of teams that could offer him some money that would be hard to turn down. Obviously, Boston and the Lakers being at the top of that list, in my opinion, anyway. I don't know. I really don't know, because I think Kemba Walker's a guy who can do he can better other guys, and so I don't know how much he could feed off of a guy like LeBron, who LeBron's just using you as a piece. Like, you're not really helping others. You're passing the ball to me. I'm passing the ball to you, like, kind of attitude. Whereas if he was in Boston, he's absolutely controlling the offense in Boston.
Yeah.
He's controlling Jason Tatum. He's controlling, all those guys, all those young pieces in Boston.
So here, I think here's the best way to describe what LeBron is to a team. When LeBron is on when you have a team, you are queen.
And you and I both, we're not hating on LeBron. I mean, I love LeBron.
It's just how it's always been, because of his marketability and his iconic stat. It's his iconic status, rather. When you are a team without LeBron, you are queen. You are Rush, right? When you have LeBron, You are Tom Petty and the Heartbreak Kids. You are Hootie and the Blowfish. You are the main attraction plus the others. You are not the one entity of a team. You are Tom Petty. Oh, and then the Heartbreak Kids.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Ron is to a team.
That's a great, yeah. So would Kimba want to be a part of that, or would he want to be?
Does anybody? Does anybody?
Yeah. Will he stay in Charlotte though? That's because he said he wanted to, but why would you want to? That's the thing, when he could go legitimately contend for a title somewhere.
Right. Okay. Let me start. I want to preface it by saying I don't like the fact that as in the media, we just assume if a guy doesn't go to a contender that he doesn't want to win. That's not true. It's just there's other factors. Like he may just love Charlotte. If he's happy, he's happy. There's so many personal motivations for guys to go anywhere in free agency, to stay where they are. It doesn't matter. It really is their personal preference. If he wants to stay in Charlotte, I'll never knock him for it. He wants to stay with the team that drafted him. He wants to be a part of the Hornet legacy. He wants to be one of the greats to ever play in that franchise. He wants to try and carry them to a title maybe one of these days. I'm okay. I'm totally okay with that. I have no problems with guys staying in bad teams, bad situations, because that's just what they want to do. There's so much motivation. Sometimes they just want to stay there, get their point, money, and just have a good time. That's totally fine with me. I don't think that you have to go to a contender in order to be relevant, or in order to be, oh, this guy doesn't want to win because he stayed with the Hornets, right? I don't believe in that. With that being said, I would like for him to go to, before I say it, last year, Austin, what was the #1 free agent destination that I told you? Do you remember? You probably don't.
I don't know.
Toronto. It's Toronto. Kimba should go to Toronto. Kyle Lowry, we're not 100%.
By Fred VanVleet?
With Fred VanVleet, he's going to be on his last year of his deal. He's going to get paid, and I don't think that's going to happen in Toronto. I think that they'd want to move off Kyle Lowry if they had gotten Kimba Walker. But it was obvious, though, at times in Toronto that Kawhi Leonard was the only option. So you do have to find other ways of scoring the ball, guys who can create their own shots, because Kawhi Leonard is the guy who creates his own shots. Kimba is a guy who can create his own shot as well. So I think Kimba Walker would be a really good fit in Toronto.
Interesting. That would be fun to watch.
That would be.
Kawhi stays, does that play any factor on your decision?
Yeah, that plays the factor. Yeah.
Okay.
Because, then you would just be essentially doing what you're doing in Charlotte. At that point, you might as well stay, right?
Yeah.
If Kawhi's gone, they're probably an 8 seed or so in the East, because Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, OG and Anunoby, I don't know, I definitely butchered that. They can get you into the playoffs, but they can't get you more than that. So if Kawhi leaves, you might as well just do what you're doing, stay in Charlotte, and just become the best player that they've ever had. Okay, lastly, Jimmy Butler. We left Kyrie off of this list. I just realized that now, but Jimmy Butler, what is the best fit for him?
I would like to say the Los Angeles Lakers.
Really?
That's what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say is the Los Angeles Lakers. I think he's proven that he's not wanting to help the younger guys, I guess, is what we saw in Minnesota. And I think he likes to have maybe a veteran presence and be with players who care about winning, and that's pretty much it.
Right.
And I think LeBron and Anthony Davis are probably definitely two major candidates for that. I think you could say the same with Houston, though. You have two guys there that pretty much care about winning and clearly nothing else, because it sounds like they don't even like each other. They're just playing with each other so they can win a title. And that's pretty much it. So I think in the Western Conference, one of those two teams, I would hope for the Lakers. You probably will say Houston, but I would say the Lakers.
I won't, actually. I'm not going to say Houston. I have a different Western Conference team outside of those two. I'll tell you real quick why he doesn't fit in Houston. Houston loves to shoot the three or get a dunk. Butler loves the mid-range game, not a great three-point shooter, and he plays defense. Something the Rockets don't like to do a whole lot of. So I don't think he would fit perfectly in Houston. personality-wise that could work. There are a lot of tough personalities. I don't know if adding one would make it better or worse.
True.
I tend to lean toward maybe worse.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if exactly if he would be the guy to fit in Houston. But then again, you play that game, then who would fit in Houston? So that's a tough one. But I don't think that's the best fit. I will tell you where the best fit is, and it's LA. But it's not the Lakers.
Yeah.
It's the Clippers. If you want to go to a team that matches his personality to a T, it is the Los Angeles Clippers. Patrick Beverley, Montrezl Harrell, Doc Rivers. You're talking about the 3 hardest, toughest nosed guys in the NBA. Doc Rivers is a glorified coach that has really refined his coaching abilities the past few years. Grit and grind. This is the Utah Jazz, or excuse me, this is the Memphis Grizzlies, rather, of LA. These guys are the toughest opponents to play mentally. You have guys like Patrick Beverley, Montrezl Harrell, guys that are up in your grill the entire game and don't ever let up. That's Jimmy Butler. That is the perfect fit for the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, I did not think I would give him a max contract because I think maybe the iron sharpens iron. Maybe a little too much in this situation. You put Jimmy Butler in there, maybe the guys kind of don't start liking each other as well. So personality-wise, I think it's either a perfect fit or it could cripple the franchise. Either one,
It is a shot.
Right. I tend to lean more towards it would be a successful move. I think Jimmy Butler to the Los Angeles Clippers would be a best fit. All right, talking more NBA. Dennis Rodman made some comments recently on ESPN's First Take, saying that the Bulls would absolutely beat the brakes off of the Warriors, and that is not verbatim. Okay, that was just a loose interpretation, and that he would have, quote, Draymond Green eating out of Dennis Rodman's hand, unquote. So, do you agree with Dennis Rodman that the Bulls, that Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan Bulls would beat the Golden State Warriors?
I think
this. Well, okay, real quick. This is a debate that no one will ever win, but we're going to talk about it. So.
That's true.
Right.
So is it the Warriors playing in the Bulls era or the Bulls playing in the Warriors era?
I guess we'll make arguments for both sides.
Okay. If it's the Bulls playing in the Warriors area, the Bulls win, no doubt. And if the Warriors are playing in the Bulls era, then the Bulls win, no doubt. I
win both.
I think the Bulls win both.
I did not see this coming. I thought you were totally on the other side of this.
No, I think the Bulls win both.
Wow.
I think that you're so surprised.
No, I'm happy with the answer. I'm just completely surprised because you talk up this Warriors team all the time that they're the greatest.
I think they're probably one of the greatest teams of all time. I mean, There's no doubt about it.
Last time I saw you, which was a year ago, you told me that this was the best. This was the best team ever.
No,
so that's why I'm surprised. That's all I'm saying.
Well, when you think about it, if the Bulls played today with those same players, those players would adjust to today's game style.
Right.
Jordan would be absolutely unstoppable because he would improve his three-point game. He would improve his three-point game along to go with what was already unstoppable at the time.
Yes.
So, that cancels out KD pretty much. And then you look at Scottie Pippen versus Clay. Scottie Pippen defensively, that would be a tremendous matchup. And then you have, Steve Kerr versus Steph. I think Steph would probably win that battle, but Steve Kerr would probably be just as good or close to as good of a shooter as Steph in today's day and age. And then I do think Rodman would bully Draymond Green. I think Rodman is smart enough to make Draymond Green cry and go crazy and cry to the refs and complain about every little thing that Rodman does to him. Rodman was so good back in the day of doing little things that weren't seen by anybody else that would just absolutely piss everyone else off.
Yeah.
That Draymond Green kind of does today, but Rodman did it better. Back then, he did it better than Draymond does today. So I think it would be a great matchup, but I think the Bulls would win because of Michael Jordan, because he would improve his three-point game, which was his only weakness, I guess, when he played back then. So I don't know how you would stop him. I really don't.
Wow, man. I agree. I totally agree with this because I think if you change the rules, which is the biggest part of the argument, really, the hand checks, the getting clothesline going anywhere in the NBA, rather than what it is now, space and pace. You can go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think it benefits the Bulls more transitioning to the easy part of the game rather than the Warriors transitioning to the hard part of the game, the physicality part. Because it's easier to adjust not getting hit than to adjust to getting
hit.
Right?
Bullied.
Right. So Steph Curry would have injury. I mean, he's already.
The whole debate about flopping after you get hit by a three-pointer in the Rockets-Warriors thing,
Right.
that wouldn't even be discussed. You expect to get hit.
Yes. The elevator screens. You can just bully guys through those. Those aren't the same. The moving screens aren't going to get called. There's going to be a lot to go in the Bulls' favor. Now, Dennis Rodman was, I mean, can we say the best rebounder of all time as a specialist? Because
Yes.
Kareem Abdul,
That was his thing. Everyone recognizes him the most for getting in people's head and rebounding. That
Right.
was it.
right? He held numerous rebounding titles as you know, being Dennis Rodman. Him against Draymond Green, defensive monster, rebounder. I think he cancels out Draymond Green. Scottie Pippen's one of the best defenders of our lifetime. So is Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was 9-time All-NBA first defense. And he was the best offensive player in the NBA through his entire career. So he was the best at both ends of the court on his entire career. He's the best at both ends of the court. Who's guarding him? Klay Thompson's not nearly good enough defender to guard him. And Klay Thompson's one of the best defenders in the NBA
Well, I feel like Klay would do all right.
Right.
But
He would allow 50. That's doing all right against Michael Jordan.
what about KD, though? I mean, who would KD guard Scottie?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the only option you got. So, I mean, I don't really see any way the Warriors could win. I will say, though, there would be foul trouble. If they played the actual game, there would be foul trouble with the Bulls in today's era.
Oh, yeah.
Because they wouldn't be used to the rules.
And I'm not saying it would be a blowout. Like, I'm not – I think the Warriors are the second greatest team of all time.
Right.
I mean, so this would be the greatest matchup ever. But I think Jordan's game today, he would perfect and still be the best.
Yeah. I agree with that as well. And I would say another thing that they would struggle with is the Warriors move brilliantly off of the ball. That's one thing that I think that the Bulls would struggle guarding because I just don't feel like there was that much movement because the shooting wasn't nearly as big of a problem because you didn't have to worry about hanging off of a guy playing man. You can play in the key on the other side, on the weak side. You can play in the key while your guy's in the three in the corner and the ball's over on the strong side. You didn't have to worry about the weak side skip pass for three as much as you do now. So I think they would struggle with little stuff like that, but I don't see any way the Bulls would lose that either, especially with that matchup. So I think the Bulls win, and we officially solved the debate. There will no longer be any debates after this. So there we go. I'm glad we
Those are
solved
the two
it.
greatest teams of all time. So, I mean, if you say the Warriors are going to win, I couldn't disagree because they've clearly proven it. If you say the Bulls are going to win, I couldn't disagree because they're.
You know, though, I'm not even 100% sure the Bulls is the greatest team ever, though. I think the Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Parrish Celtics, and I think the Showtime Lakers have a lot to say about that too.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure that this Bulls team is the best ever. Now,
but Jordan did kind of eliminate those two teams, the Celtics and the Lakers.
Well, they were also they were kind of hobbling at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly,
but I mean, still.
Right, but they didn't exactly play them at their best. So I don't. It's always an impossible debate. So I don't know. I'd have to give it more thought as to who's the best team. Those are the top 5 for sure. Okay, I want to ask you also kind of just to tell on this. He also said that Michael Jordan would average 50 in today's NBA.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? You think so?
Well, after what I just said, I mean, his only weakness was 3-point shooting, and he would improve on that substantially. So then he'd be unguardable.
Yeah. I agree with that as well, 100%. He averaged 37 points per game. His highest ever was 37.1 points per game. Wow. I mean, against that defense, against those guys that they weren't athletic, so they just killed you when they got to the rim because that was all they had. They were bruisers. They were enforcers. So I 100% agree with that. Okay, just one last NBA topic, and we'll move on to the MLB. NBA awards were just a couple nights ago. Let me list them off for you, and I want to see, Austin, if you agree with all of them. So we're just going to go with the player awards, right? So we'll start with Coach of the Year was Mike Budenholzer. That was kind of a given, I feel like. So yeah, it's the second time winning it with the Atlanta Hawks and with the Milwaukee Bucks. Most improved player goes to Pascal Siakam. The other was D'Angelo Russell and De'Aaron Fox. Rudy Gobert won Defensive Player of the Year. Giannis and Paul George were the other two. Lou Williams won his third Sixth Man of the Year. Montrezl Harrell and Domantas Sabonis were the other ones.
That one is the Lou Williams Award.
It is. It really is. Rookie of the Year went to Luka Doncic. Trae Young finished third in that one. And then most valuable player was Giannis Antetokounmpo. Paul George and James Harden finished second and third in that one. So, anything that you disagree with?
I agree with all of them.
I don't.
You're a Rockets fan, bias. Get out of here.
I actually wasn't going to say that. But thanks for thinking that. I think most improved player. I think it was D'Angelo Russell, because when I look at most improved player, because Pascal Siakam won it, okay, cannot deny his absolute strive to be a star. But the thing is, though, D'Angelo Russell went from a slightly above average player to borderline superstar this year. I think the jump is bigger. I'm not just talking about stats. Pascal Siakam maybe had the bigger statistical outcome. But I think in the global, in the huge scheme of it, D'Angelo Russell went from, he had more ground to cover from where he was. From a just above average player, people thought he was just a scoring point guard, a guy that was just okay, got traded from the Lakers, to a borderline superstar, the guy that you could really build around. That is a huge improvement. That's something that I think cannot be denied. I think D'Angelo Russell should have won Most Improved Player of the Year.
He did pretty well. And even is Pascal, is he even considered a superstar still?
I would say star now. After what he did in the final, I would say he's a guy that
relatively unknown to star.
Second, third option would be ideal.
Yeah.
Right. Other than that, I don't think. I mean, Lou Williams, you can't really take it away from him.
It's his award. It's his award.
Rookie of the Year. I mean, I think it was Trae Young personally, but I can't disagree with the stats that
Luka was consistent all year long. Trae was better in the back half.
That's true, but you do have to say Trae's second half was significantly better than Doncic anything. His second half was by far and away better than anything Luka did the entire year. But I also get why you reward consistency. Giannis won it. I'm not surprised by it. I think he's the best player in the NBA. They just don't like giving it to the same guy back-to-back years. If James Harden didn't win it last year, he most certainly would have won it this year. Yeah. That's just how it works. You had to accept the fact because that's just how it is. So, but I also think at the same time, do you think the Rockets would make the playoffs if James Harden wasn't on that team?
I don't. Say same for Giannis, though.
I think they would still make the playoffs. He has a very good supporting crew around him. Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, Bledsoe, Malcolm Brogdon, some good players around him. But I'm not going to argue either because I really think that he had such a spectacular season. But I do think James Harden would have won it. But it's not a hill I'm going to die on today.
That's good.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the MLB. A lot of stuff coming at you today.
All-Star game coming up.
All-Star game coming up. We're getting back
to
that
halfway mark. Go vote for those All-Star.
Go vote for the Royals, Braves.
Here shortly.
Yep. We're going to have a really good All-Star weekend here shortly. So we're going to do the biggest snub that we think is going to happen and who thinks going to get the most undeserving All-Star appearance. So, Austin, you go ahead.
All right. So you want me to go with biggest snub first?
Whatever you feel.
Okay, so I'll go with I'll go with biggest snub first. So I have Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop for the Boston Red Sox. I really don't know how he wasn't on the ballot.
He's on the ballot.
Let me show his stats here. He bats a 298 average. He has 15 home runs, 55 RBIs, and his on-base percentage is 389, and his OPS is 924, which is pretty great if you know what all those stats mean. It's pretty incredible. And so I think when a lot of people think of the Boston Red Sox, they think of Mookie Betts. But, I mean, geez, this guy is having a tremendous season. And so for him to be left out of the ballot is pretty surprising to me, honestly.
Yeah, it's disgusting is really what the word you're looking for is. So, yeah, I 100% agree with that one. So I'll go ahead and go with my snub as well. He's not on the ballot either, and I'm pissed about it. Okay. He's the best third baseman, and I know you especially love Nolan Arenado. Josh Donaldson's on there, Chris Bryant's on there. Okay, great, big names. We get it. That's fine.
They're good, yeah.
They're good. I get it. They've been there before. That's not the best third baseman in the National League. It's not. It's Anthony Rendon. This is the best third baseman in the National League. Put some freaking respect on his name. I'm tired of this guy getting overlooked. Plays for the Washington Nationals. Plays within the Braves division. I have every right to hate this guy, but I don't. He's a baller. This guy is a monster at the plate. Let me give you some stats here, Austin. You listening? Want to make sure you hear all these.
I'm definitely listening.
All right. I got your attention, huh? 313 batting average. Okay, that's pretty good. Right. So he has 240 at-bats, maybe a little below where you want to be. I want to see around 300 to really solidify it. 240 is plenty, though. I'll take 340 or 240. 59 runs. Okay. In case you guys don't know, 100 runs in a season is spectacular. He has 59 already.
Impressive. Very impressive.
He has 75 hits. That's a pretty decent amount. 20 doubles, 55 RBIs, just as well as Xander Bogaerts does. He has 17 home runs, okay? 32 walks, 313 average, as I said. His on-base percentage is .402.
Oh, Xander Bogaerts also has 61 runs, by the way. Speaking on your 100 runs total thing. He's at 61. He's not on the ballot.
I mean, come on. Okay. All right. Oh, this is so frustrating. So frustrating. His on-base percentage is .402, and his OPS is 1,027.
He's gone.
You gotta be kidding me. There's no excuse. There's no excuse for this guy not to be on there. Oh my God. It literally makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. This is the best third baseman in the National League, and we give him no respect. This is truly the best third baseman in the National League.
Big names he's going against.
You look, okay, so here's the ballot that he's being voted in over. Nolan Arenado, Josh Donaldson, Chris Bryant. I tell you, Josh Donaldson does not deserve to be on there. I can tell you Chris Bryant does not deserve to be on there. Nolan Arenado always deserves to be on there. Anthony Rendon has had a better season than Nolan Arenado.
And Nolan Arenado is probably going to win that.
He will win it. Anthony Rendon's going to get into the All-Star game because every team has a representative. He's the best player on the Nationals. But it's not going to be because of the fans, and that's a damn shame. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves.
Come on, Washington. Pick it up.
No.
All right, so I'll go with most undeserving. And so a lot of this has to do with fan votes. So you see a lot of the big name teams in there, like the Chicago Cubs. And so I have on here Albert Almora Jr. is on the ballot for the Cubs as an outfield position. He bats only 247 average, only 7 home runs, 22 RBIs, and a 681 OPS, which is, we know, 1,000 is where you want to be. And he's only at a 681. So I understand the big name teams. You see a lot of Cubs, Yankees. But come on. I mean, we know there's better outfielders out there in the National League. And this guy took up a ballot space. You hate to see it.
I would try and defend him and say his defense is spectacular, which it is, but
Which it is.
I mean,
come on.
All right, I'm gonna go with kind of the same sort of bias that you're talking about with the big markets.
Yeah.
Because these guys are always the ones who gets the votes. I'm going with, I've never said his name out loud before, so forgive me. Gio Urshela. Now, this is the third baseman for the New York Yankees. All right, I'm going to have to tough through this one. 303 batting average. Fantastic. That's great, right? He's only had 200 at-bats. He has 61 hits. Not too bad. Nothing to sneeze at so far. 812 OPS. Okay. His on-base percentage is 354. Okay. What? Why are we wasting our time with this guy?
Great question.
Because he's third baseman for the New York Yankees?
Yeah,
we're looking for someone to go there since A-Rod left? You kidding me? No. Oh my! I get so frustrated with this stuff because there are guys that are balling out there that just get crapped on because there's guys like the third baseman for the New York Yankees who get the fan vote. Get the vote for absolutely no reason. Hunter Dozier is above him. Thank God. Alex Bregman is above him at number 1, which I completely agree with. Alex Bregman is an absolute stud. Gio Urshela does not belong to be on the list, so I'm tired of seeing it. Get that out of my house.
So you're moving 2 third basemen.
One that actually deserves some recognition and one that just plays for the Yankees.
Oh my gosh, that was intense.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I had to get that heated because I'm so tired of Anthony. This is not the first time Rendon's been overlooked. It's been 3 or 4 years now. This guy has not gotten the respect that he's due. This is the best third baseman in baseball. Give him some respect. All right. Actually, we're gonna skip this one. I'm gonna take out a topic because we're kind of running a little long on time here.
All right.
So we'll go ahead and say we're gonna do home run derbies. Who we want in the home run derbies. So I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna list them off real quick. My first one, hometown favorite, Jorge Soler for us, Kansas City Royals. He has.
I got him too. You know it.
I mean, he is pure power. Is exactly what the home run derby always gets. Guys that may not hit all of the home runs, but they have the pure power to knock it out of the park.
He's also number 5 in the American League in home runs.
Right. Yeah, he's had a very, very good year. Number 2, Joey Gallo, one of probably the most powerful hitter in the MLB right now. I have number 3, Pete Alonso, the best rookie in the MLB, playing for the Mets. Josh Bell, he's had one of the good power years. Dan Vogelbach, you may not know who he is. He's the first baseman for the Seattle Mariners, a guy that has pure freaking power. So he's at number 5 for me. Number 6, Cody Bellinger. I was hesitant to put him in here because he had a very bad home run derby a couple years ago in his rookie year. So I was hesitant to put him in there, but he's had too good of a year now. So maybe he wins this one. Number 7, Ronald Acuna, pure power. Just a stud that a lot of guys would come and watch. Number 8, Christian Yelich.
So I put in here some guys that I'd like to see, as well as guys who I think would be just solely fun to watch. So Jorge Soler fits both of those.
Yeah.
For me, the guy I would want to see in there, I think would be a lot of fun to watch. I mean, we saw one of the most extreme foul balls I've ever seen.
Wow.
Went literally outside of the stadium for Cleveland, and it looked like he didn't even swing it. It was a foul ball that I've never seen crushed so much outside of the stadium in Cleveland. And then Josh Bell is the longest home run of the season in the river in Pittsburgh. So, I mean, he's got to be in, right? I mean, you want to talk about power. That guy has probably the most power. Christian Yelich is another guy. I mean, MVP of the league last year. Just so electric, so fun to watch.
I will say that I don't think he would do well in the home run derby, but I feel like you have to put him in there.
That's fair.
Because he's such a complete hitter. He's not a Joey Gallo kind of hitter.
Yes. Yeah. And then the next guy I have, he, of course, doesn't have the stats or anything, but I think it would be so much fun to watch. Shohei Ohtani. Because, I mean, my gosh. I mean, this guy's a pitcher also. Jordan and I talk about him on the cave all the time, about how beast we think this kid can be. We know he has the power. I think it would just be more fun to just see him in there than anything.
And that would draw another type of crowd as well.
100%. 100%. Ketel Marte, another guy. I mean, all these guys in here are just so capable of doing well and would be so much fun to watch. Joey Gallo, Jordan said everything perfectly about him. Mike Trout, here's another guy, probably one of the best baseball players we've ever seen, best player in this generation, most likely. And then I put Pete Alonso in there also. Unreal that he's only a rookie. I mean, good grief. I know he plays for the New York Mets. It's unfortunate for you, but I mean, 27 home runs. Come on. He's got to be.
I am not a hater on Peter Alonso. I like this guy a lot.
Yeah.
I hate that he plays for that team because he plays against us.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our top 5 list. Today, we got top 5 ice cream flavors like we promised and top 5 prettiest jump shots ever to grace the NBA. So we're going to go ahead and go with the sports one first because I feel like the ice cream's going to take a while. So go ahead.
Let's just get through the sports. Let's get to the main thing.
I mean, that's usually what we do.
Oh, all right. So you want me to start with the jump shots?
Yes.
Okay. So I put Dirk on there at 5 because his is just so unique, so rainbow arcing, and it just has such a high likelihood of going in. You put the ball over the rim, chances are it's going to go in. And that's exactly what Dirk does to a T. 4, Kobe Bryant. I mean, it's just such a beautiful mid-range jumper, and it's just great form. And the thing with Kobe's jump shot is you can tell he works on it literally endlessly.
Right.
And that's what he did. He would literally do it endlessly, just shoot shots all day. Here's another guy who just rarely missed, Chris Mullin. Just such a pure shot, just catch and release. It's just pretty. It describes your topic to a T. It was just such a pretty shot, and it went in so often.
And these 5 don't have to be great shooters, even though they all are. They don't have to be great shooters to have a pretty jump shot. So
Ray Allen, I have at number 2, just so quick, and it's just such a line drive shot. Everyone knows what it is. Just catch and fire instantly.
Puts it
right above the head.
Yeah.
Right above the head, just fire it. Yeah. Just line drive straight through every time.
And he has such lift. The lift on it is just the best.
It's crazy. It's truly crazy. Regarded as one of the greatest shooters of all time, if not the greatest. And then, so speaking on that, I didn't have Steph on here, who I think is the greatest shooter of all time, because Steph's shot is it's different in the fact because he shoots it from so far away that he just throws it from his chest. So it's not a pretty jump shot because his shot, he's perfected it to where he can shoot it from far distances.
Yeah. He's
perfected his shot that's perfect to him, where he's a small guy that he can just launch it from anywhere and have a likelihood of it going in. So that's why in pretty jump shots, he's not on my top 5, even though I think he's the greatest shooter of all time. Number 1, just so beautiful. Larry Legend, Larry Bird. I mean, he's one of those guys that people look back to today and say, shoot like Larry. Like, he's just so great and so above his time. When he was playing, he was the best. I mean, his shot was so perfect always. Whereas other guys were run and gun, chuck it up. Magic, obviously, the next guy in that time period of, I'm going to drive first. Whereas Larry's like, I'm hitting this in your eye. There's nothing you're going to do about it because it's so beautiful. So he's my number 1 for me.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite top 5 we've done. So at number 5, I have Carmelo Anthony because it's not only is the prettiest, it's just iconic. Just the right in front of your forehead, kind of jump to the left a little bit, kind of arc your body a little bit to the right, and just flick it and just go from there. And he's one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen. I think probably the best pure scorer of my lifetime, just purely on the offensive ball, prime Carmelo Anthony, maybe the best all-time scorer I've ever seen in my life. Number 4, I have Kobe Bryant. His was so beautiful because he could alter it at any moment in the game. And that's from practice, like you were just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Contested baseline. He understands he's got to get more arc on it. Getting fouled from the left side, 3-point. He understands he's got to get rid of it. It's going to be a straight line shot. Mid-range game, post game, everything. It was different every single time, But at the same time, it never changed because it was so uniform.
He worked on it so much. That's the difference for him.
Exactly. He knew exactly where the ball had to be, how he needed to release it in every single situation. That was what was so beautiful about it. And when he was in the mid-range game, throw your hands up, call it a day. It's over. He's going to score. So, number 4, Kobe Bryant. Number 3, I have Larry Legend, Larry Bird himself. His was so pretty, man. I mean, the the fake over the clip, the fake pass, got him to look, and then the jump shot right over his face. Beautiful stuff. I mean, he really perfected the jump shot because it wasn't really, shooting wasn't exactly the main skill that you needed to have back in that day. It was the physical stuff. It was the low post game. He really patented jump shooting. So he really made it very common to be a good shooter, and it was just beautiful at the same time. One guy I will say that I left off the list that should be on there, Pistol Pete Maravich. He should be number 6.
There's a lot of guys that we mentioned that aren't on here.
So many. Number 2, Austin kind of questioned me on it at first. I think this is absolutely just stunning. Dirk Nowitzki's shot. This is a guy that has an iconic fadeaway, one that you'll ever forget, especially in the finals versus the Heat. No, you love that. just the ball, it's just so weird but beautiful at the same time. The ball basically on the front, or your hand on basically the front of the ball, bringing it up, releasing your hand, and then just throwing it up in the air as high as you can.
Literally just roll it straight up in the air.
And
as high as it'll go.
And he barely has to lift off of the ground. And he's 7 feet tall. The turnaround fadeaway post, the mid-range jumper, it's just iconic. The fadeaway with the leg sticking out, the three-point shot. He's one of the greatest shooters of our generation. So Dirk Nowitzki at number 2, and then easily for me, number 1, Ray Allen. I don't think anyone's going to ever beat this one because it was so iconic and so unusual. Because he kept it in the palm of his hand. He had just a tremendous amount of lift on his shot, which was really the most impressive part because 82-game season, usually your legs start to get a little tired.
Especially with the shots he would put up.
Right, exactly. I mean, the amount of shots that he puts up. But he gets tremendous lift from his lower half. Just straight line. I think, in my opinion, I know we differ on this quite a bit. I think he's the greatest shooter of all time. Austin thinks it's Steph Curry. I think it's Ray Allen, but undoubtedly the most beautiful shot of all time in my eyes. So, okay.
Let's go.
We're going to have some problems here. So, top 5 ice cream flavors. Now, let me preface this again. I am not a huge ice cream guy. I prefer slushies. I like the frozen popsicles that you can get.
You're a fruity guy.
I like the fruity kind of ice cream sort of alternative. I'm not a huge ice cream guy. I think it's a little too rich for me. So excuse me if my list is not up to Austin's expectations. So I'll go ahead and start because I feel like we should just get this out of the way and fight. Number 5, kill me. It's vanilla. I know kill me.
Already. What?
I'm not a huge chocolate guy, so chocolate's not really on my list. So I couldn't put any chocolate. Cookie dough, that's too rich, the same thing. That's why vanilla is number 5. It's just always acceptable. That's a reason it's on the list. Number 4, strawberry. Again, kind of another ordinary run-of-the-mill stuff. A lot of people like it. It's very popular. Number 3, mint chocolate chip. Another popular one. I actually thoroughly enjoy this one. I can only eat a certain amount of ice cream before I just start to get sick. I just don't like it that much. But these 1 and 2, I can eat quite a bit of. Number 2, I have cookies and cream.
Great choice.
Obviously, one of the most famous and well-loved ones around the nation. And then my number 1, which I guess is a controversial thing, sherbet.
It's not ice cream. It's not. How can your number 1 ice cream flavor not even be ice cream?
It is ice cream.
It is not
ice cream. Yes, it is. So here's your argument against sherbet, that you could make a top 5 sherbet flavors. Agreed. You could absolutely do that.
Because it's a different category. Like you can have like a strawberry flavored ice cream and then a strawberry sherbet because it's a different thing.
Right. You could do the same thing with chocolate. Make a top 5, top 10, top chocolate ice cream flavors. The same thing with sherbet. So I don't get your argument. This is absolute ice cream. Is made of the same stuff, same consistency. Everything is the exact same except for the flavor. It is.
It's so no.
It is made the exact same way, except a different flavor than what you're used to. And it's the fruity kind. The stuff that I enjoy. Don't knock me. I'm going to fight you for it.
Oh, this is a Twitter poll, by the way.
Right. What we're going to do for the Twitter polls is we're just going to copy and paste basically both of our top 5. So we'll put, is Sherbet acceptable as an ice cream? Is going to be one of them, and that's going to be yes or no. And the other one's going to be who has the prettiest jump shot ever. I think we'll debate on who we put in the top 5 or the top 4 options. But those are our 2 Twitter polls. But Austin doesn't think that Sherbet's acceptable as ice cream.
It's not. It's not ice cream. It's a different category. Why does it have a different name?
Okay.
Like, you have cookies and cream ice cream, mint chocolate chip ice cream, and then you have sherbet. It's a different thing.
Okay, awesome. Just be quiet for a minute. Okay, just shut your mouth for a minute. Where in the scientific development of sherbet does it differ from ice cream?
I don't know.
How is it made any differently?
I feel like punch is used in some sort of way, like some kind of. There's no. I don't know. Right. I don't know.
Here's my example. I have 2 bottles of Febreze right here. Okay, this one is clean air. This is original Febreze. This is what the run-of-the-mill Febreze is, right?
Yes.
This is blood orange and spitz. I don't know why it's named that, but this is a different flavor of Febreze. I say flavor, you don't eat it. Not supposed to do that. This is the exact thing that you're trying to tell me, that this is not this. You're trying to tell me that Febreze is not Febreze.
Sherbet. Why is it called? Why cherry sherbet is the big thing? Right. Why is it not just cherry ice cream?
Here's a better example. Here's a better. Austin, it's my time to talk. Okay.
That's like saying like you have like Honey Nut Cheerios and then like Circle O like Great Value brand. It's different. It's different.
What are you talking about? It's cereal.
No.
Okay, I'm going to exclude that because that made no sense. I will let that one fly. I will let that slide, okay? We're going to act like you didn't say that one. Okay, so here's the thing. Both of these are air fresheners, okay? Febreze, let's act like this is ice cream, okay? But they're both air fresheners. Though this one is a different scent, still makes it an air freshener. Because sherbet is a different flavor of ice cream does not make it not ice cream.
Why is it called sherbet then? If it's why don't they just call it ice cream? Because it's not.
That is a good point. I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't understand
the reasoning.
It's not.
No, just because the name is different doesn't make it different.
It makes it. That's like saying ice cream is the same as a popsicle. You can have a strawberry popsicle and strawberry ice cream, but they're totally different.
Sherbet is not a popsicle.
I don't know.
Popsicle on a stick. It's on a stick. You eat it. You know what a popsicle is.
Then why if sherbet is made the exact same as ice cream, then why isn't it just called ice cream?
Because it's fruit flavors. It's not the same flavors that you always see in ice cream.
But all the flavors that you have in sherbet, you have in ice cream too.
That's not true. That is not true. Orange, you don't get that. You don't get that in regular ice cream. You don't get lime. You don't get the green. You don't get cherry nearly as much. You do kind of get cherry a little bit. There's so many sherbet flavors that are not included. You have grape. Not a fan of it. But the fact is that that's still a flavor of sherbet that is ice cream. It's not made any different. It is ice cream. It just has a different flavor.
It's fine that you're wrong. It's fine that you're wrong. You don't have to explain it anymore. It's okay.
All right. So just because I have a car means that it's not a vehicle compared to a truck. Right? Because they're not the same thing. That makes it not a vehicle. That's what you're telling me. Because, I have a car.
What?
That this truck, because we're comparing it to this truck, that makes my car not a vehicle. That is literally the exact same thing you're telling me. That is, they're made the same. They're made the same. They're just look a little.
We'll see what the people say on Twitter. We'll see how wrong you are on Twitter.
Hey, don't come to me when you get smacked.
You
get smacked on Twitter. I'm sorry. The Twitterverse is not going to be on your side on this one.
That's fair.
And you know what? If your family agrees with you, they're going to kill the Twitter poll because I feel like they're probably a big part of it.
Oh man! All right. So my top 5.
We still forgot you had your top 5 left.
So I actually am a big banana fan. I like banana flavored anything, like literally anything.
Yeah.
So I found a banana ice cream that I've had before, which it really isn't such a thing, but it's like Nutella chocolate and banana. So it's basically chocolate ice cream with chunks of banana in it. Is what it really is. As my number 5, because I had to have a banana something in there because I love it. 4. This is different than mint chocolate chip because I like peppermints more than just your basic just mints. So I have peppermint ice cream. I usually always have this around Christmas time. I feel like I see it a lot around Christmas. And it's just I like it more than mint chocolate chip to me. Number 3, cookies and cream, a staple. I don't really know anyone who doesn't like this. And then number 2, I just have chocolate. Chocolate milkshakes are my favorite. Just straight up, just chocolate. And then number 1, I have Neapolitan, which I know is the 3 most basic flavors in one, but the combo of all 3 is what makes it the best. Of chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry, all in the perfectly 3 lines. Just the combo of them is great. I know they're the 3 most basic flavors in one, but the combo is what makes it number 1 for me. And all 5 of those were ice cream, not even debated. Whereas, you know how I put Neapolitan ice cream, chocolate ice cream, cookies and cream ice cream, peppermint ice cream, banana ice cream. I didn't put chocolate sherbet. I didn't put cookies and cream sherbet because that's a different category.
Yeah, because they don't make those.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Chocolate cookies. You're just ridiculous, Austin. You're just sounding ridiculous.
Not.
Why are we even talk to each other?
We obviously don't like each other.
We obviously don't like each other.
Go vote on Twitter for that because I can't wait to see the outcome. I'm about to vote right now.
A lot hangs in the balance here. So. Okay. So Twitter poll question today, we'll go over it one more time. Is sherbet acceptable as ice cream? That's going to be the first one. That's going to be a simple yes or no question. Number 2 is going to be who has the prettiest jump shot ever. We'll put Ray Allen, Kobe Bryant. I think we should put Steph in there because I feel like we're not the only ones with that opinion.
Dirk and Steph.
So those are going to be the 4 that we're going to put in there. So go and vote on there. I hope
Steph win. Oh boy, that's tough.
Man, okay, we'll mull it over. We'll put it on Twitter. You guys go look at Halfway Meet on Twitter. Go follow us. Go vote. So it's going to be exhilarating. Pump the brakes. We have 3 baseball ones, by the way. So this is going to be the last segment that we do before we end the show. Number 1, the Tampa Bay Rays should split and have a team in Montreal as well as in Tampa Bay.
I think so.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much of a fan base there is for Tampa Bay for the Rays. I just feel like they can expand their team market if they go somewhere else as well. Like just in Tampa Bay, it's clearly just not working for them. Yeah, I mean, like there's just other better teams down in that region of the country, and the Rays are always overlooked. Whereas they go somewhere else, they can be. I don't know.
But why don't you just move the team to Montreal?
Move the whole team there.
Yeah, split it up. I don't get the point of splitting.
I feel like maybe it's because they have a lot. They have a lot of sponsors, a lot of money invested in the team being in Tampa Bay. Whereas it would just be too hard to just up and leave, I guess.
But playing teams have done it. I don't really see the benefit in it. But if they want to move to Montreal, that's fine. The reason I think that they're doing this is they're tired of playing in Tropicana Field. They want a new stadium. That stadium's a POS.
This regarded as the worst.
Yes, it is the worst stadium, bar none, in the MLB. Deserves to be tore down. I think they just strong-arming themselves into getting a new stadium. That's what I think this is all about. So I don't think that realistically they can do that. Because then you have players who are – there's no way that the union can approve this. You're going to have players who are going to have to move halfway through the season to Montreal. Then you have to get passports, and everyone has to go to Canada to play, as well as Toronto, already with the Blue Jays. You have families that are going to get split up. This is not okay. This is not something you can just do to guys. So I do not like this move at all. If you're going to move. Just do it. So I don't think you're going to split in between them. Plus, this is a very Tampa Ray's idea. They're the one very inventive, innovative team that comes up with crazy stuff. This is very crazy. So this is stuff that Tampa would definitely do. Number 2, the Los Angeles Lakers will land a big free agent this offseason.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, I just think all their cards in are trying to get somebody else right now. I mean, they got Anthony Davis. They know they can't just have him and LeBron and Kuzma. They know they have to get somebody else, so they're going to. I don't know who it'll be. I don't know if it'll be a huge free agent. I don't think it'll be like Kawhi, but I think they will get one of the bigger ones. I don't know who though.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Those trades to the Wizards, clearing up the rest of that cap space. Yep. They're trying to get somebody. I think they will, but I don't think the player's going to like as much as they think they will. I'm still not convinced that a big 3 in LA is going to get them out of the West. I think it would be the favorite.
Honestly, I don't think anyone's really confident in the front office that they'll make it work anyway. Even if they do get somebody big, I think somehow someone will screw it up.
And am I still confident that LeBron is still LeBron? We don't know. I mean, this is the first time he's had an injury.
I'd like to believe so, but
I do too. But I don't know that for a fact like I always have. So I'm not sure. Number 3, MLB votes should be taken away from the fans and given to the players and coaches strictly.
I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit on it because I liked when the fan got to vote in like the last 4 or whatever so players that they were like close, like that were being, you know how they used to say, oh, one last vote to try and get, like the Royals put Mike Moustakas in one year where he was like close. He was right there. I liked that, but for them voting for all of the players, I don't know, because then we run into problems like we talked about earlier with the big name teams running it. And some really good players being left out because their fans just aren't as into it as much as they maybe should be.
I'm very staunch on my approach with this one. I will always support the fans. There is no sports leagues without the fans. The people watching at home, the people that come to the game and support their guys. Now, it's a damn shame that you have guys like Anthony Rendon, like Xander Bogaerts, which is surprising with Bogaerts because he plays with the Red Sox. You'd think he'd be in the ballot. That are left out of the ballot, don't get to the All-Star games. But the fact is, the fans want what they want. If they want this guy in the All-Star game, if you don't want to see him, go vote for somebody else. You can literally stop it. You can go prevent that from happening. So the fans, I think, should have the votes. I think it's perfect right now because it's kind of split between fans. I think coaches and players should definitely have a big say in it as well, and they do. So I think it's perfect as is. And yeah, of course, I mean, now every single team gets one representative. That started in 2013. So I'm totally fine with what it is now. You can't take power away from the fans. They are all you have. So the fans, I think, should always keep the vote in every sport. All right, last topic. MLB. They're going to London right now with the Red Sox. Should schedule more overseas games. Because they played one, I think it was the Reds and Cardinals in Mexico City. And now I think the Red Sox and Yankees, maybe. I don't know if it's the Yankees. I know the Red Sox are playing in London, I think, tonight.
Okay.
But this is the first time I've seen overseas games quite this often.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much of a market there is for baseball in overseas. I mean, I feel like if you went to like Japan or somewhere like that, there would be a good turnout for it. And we've seen it down in the Dominican Republic, obviously.
They actually did play. They played in Japan. The Mariners and the A's opened the season up in a 3-game series in Japan.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, I think if it's panning out the way that it has been so far and it's progressing like that, then yeah, I think that we could start to see some more games scheduled over there.
Yeah, I absolutely believe in this. Now the thing is with baseball, it sounds crappy to say, but there's a simplicity to soccer. 1 ball, 2 goals, nothing else. No other equipment needed.
Yeah.
Kind of an easy sport, no matter the financial ruin of a country, of a continent. With baseball is definitely the most expensive sport to have. You have to have the bat, have to have 9 people to play, or else you're not going to do anything. You have to have a field. You have to have foul lines. There's a lot to go into baseball. So I think it's tougher for it to be an international sport. But I absolutely think that this is a sport.
Also, look at it from a span perspective compared to like the NFL. It's not that bad if you're missing 3 MLB games being left out. Whereas, like, you're taking away one of only 7 or 8 home games in the NFL.
Yeah, scheduling overseas is a big issue because you have a lot less margin for error. An overseas game, you getting a couple less hours of sleep could miss you the playoffs.
Yeah.
So in MLB, a couple games here and there, yeah, you could miss the playoffs. Maybe that doesn't really happen too often.
Not with 3 games.
Right, exactly. But I totally agree with it. I think every single all 30 of the teams should have a overseas performance somewhere in the world. I think that would be amazing. In just a 2-3 game series. That's all you're really asking for.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with it. All right. That is it on Meet Me Halfway. What a debate we had about ice cream. Man, we left it all out there. I got nothing left. I got nothing left in the tank. All right. That's Meet Me Halfway. I'm Jordan Griffith, Austin Norton. Austin, say bye to the people.
Bye, people.
Thank you guys for watching. Tune in Monday. We're going to have a great show for you guys. Thank you for watching.